Welcome back, everyone, to the Complete Pineleaf, where last time we found a mysterious note on an orc that had information that Gandalf didn't care about 2 bits. But he seems to have found something relating to the Black Book of Mordor, so let's see what he thinks about that.
I suspected there was something I missed in the Black Book. And I was right.
I could not place my finger upon what I was missing, but something stirred within the recesses of my mind, and I found a new avenue for study worth following. Will you hear me, Pineleaf? Things are not as we believed. Alright, let me see what has happened in the last day. I have learned that Isildur is, or at least his shade is still around. I learned the real story of the last alliance. I learned the real story about your past. What do you mean? Something not as we believed? How could you possibly think that? What's going on now?
Listen now to my words and the words of Voin.
And what has happened now that worries you so? From my earlier study of the Black Book, we learned of Voin's encounter with Magildir, the elf in the Grey Mountains, and their subsequent friendship. Unremarkable, perhaps, and yet we marked it, for an air of mystery surrounds this tome. Both the circumstances in which it was found and the writing between its black covers filled me with intrigue and unease in equal measure. From the shade of Isildur we learned somewhat of Magildir the elf, and a few of his deeds seemed notable. It is no slight to him, merely the truth that his most significant achievements appears to be his survival. Nearly 2,000 years passed between his name surfaced anywhere, and that in the Black Book. What then of Magildir's inclusion? Why do Voin see fit to write of this elf? Is this what's confusing you? We must return to these halls of memory to Voin's account of the Grey Mountains. Alright. So we have to move which way? I suppose the way that's open? Yeah. This way? Alright. Always dark. Always sparkly. Always windy. Gandalf flips through the pages of the Black Book. Alright. I suppose that's typical also. Ah. He always writes himself as getting there quickly. Alright, so there is the dwarf, and there is Magildir. Alright. And of course, the other people we don't know yet. What has Voin to say about this meeting? Listen well, Pineleaf. Hold, strangers! What goes there? And for what purpose? It is a dwarf. Yeah. I am called Magildir. My boon companions, and I mean you no harm. You're an elf! Yeah, that is true. The mountains are no places for an elf. I think that's less true, Master Dwarf. We go where evil lurks and oppose it. Magildir did not adventure alone. Oh. I have learned the identities of the others of his band. Alright, good. Consider them now, and I will share with you what I have learned. Okay. Oh, I have to consider each of them in turn. Alright, this one. Indistinct figure number 1. They were knights of Gondor adventuring far from home in the years after the Battle of Fornost. They sought out pockets of Angmar resistance in the mountains and ended their threat. These were their names: Orlong, Makilnis, Calator, and Silmatar. You know these names, Pineleaf, as do I. And you know the name of he to whom they pledged their loyalty. Yes, Erner. Before he became the king of Gondor, he was its prince. While his father Arenel ruled from Minas Anor, he did the bidding of Gondor in the north. Arenor fought at Fornost with his knights, and it was there that they met Magodir. For 20 years after the Battle of Fornost, they sought to end the threat of Angmar forever. This brought them to the Grey Mountains, where they met Voin of the Joruka. Yes, Pineleaf. With deception, Voin masks the name, but it is of Erenar that he writes. The very same Erenar who would become Mordor, the false king of Angmar. The same Erenar who commanded the armies of Mordor in the guise of Gothmog. He troubles us still, and makes his presence felt even in the tome from 1,000 years ago. So, Magodir was a friend of Erenar. I should have known, Pineleaf. I should have read the signs. So what do we do now?
Gothmog has been responsible for much sorrow in each of his guises.
It seems, too, that Gothmog's fate is interwoven with yours, for even the tale of Voin is not free from his corruptive touch, though it be written almost 1,000 years ago. Gothmog has been a long simmering font of evil. He can no longer remain unchallenged. It is time at last to put an end to him. These past few years revealed to us that which we did not know. King Erenar was not slain when he rode to Minas Morgul to confront the Witch King. He was instead transformed into Mordor, a thrall of the Lord of the Nazgul. It was by Mordor's hand that the shadow fell upon Angmar, but he was opposed by Gothmog the Ranger and Narmaleth at Linden, to say nothing of a certain warden of my acquaintance. Mordred's designs were broken, but his spirit persevered, and he was given a new guise and a new task. He would command Sauron's armies in war, second only to his old master, the Witch King of Angmar. But the Witch King was slain at Pelennor, as few only might have dared hope, and Gothmog's confidence in his own invulnerability was shaken. He fled the field, escaping to Imlad Morgul and sealing the roads in or out of the Vale. While Sauron thrived, the free peoples of Middle-earth had worries enough to occupy their attention, and Gothmog could be set aside. But now a new fear presents itself to me. Gothmog has had time now to lick his wounds and search the valley for artifacts that might reverse his fortunes. What terrible sorceries might he have discovered? Sounds like then that we're coming back to this note I found.
King Elisar has charged Prince Faramir with cleansing the evils from Imlad Morgul.
Go and find King Elisar's men and finish Gulf, the dread door of the western bounds of Gorgoroth, and aid them with their mission. They will not be able to stand alone against Gothmog, but your help may tip the balance in their favor. Remember, my friend, Minas Morgul was once the Tower of Minas Ithil, a jewel of Gondorian art and culture. But it has spent long centuries corrupted by the Nazgul and Sauron's other terrible servants. None can say what dangers you will find within, but I trust that if anyone has the courage to face them, you do. Oh, wonderful. Well then, it is time to head over to Fenos Ghost. I have arrived and I have found the Ithilian soldiers, I think. And though they're not doing very well.
We have need of strong allies, and dare not turn anyone away.
Be careful, friend. We're hard pressed here, and attacks can come at any time without warning. It was at Prince Faramir's command that we forced open the dread door, and we paid dearly for it. Many of my brethren did not survive the initial attack, but now we hold it against whatever evils tried to retake it, and we will not risk dishonoring the memory of our fallen by giving it back. We established a camp to the west, and you may find the prince there. Do what you can to help us, for we have need of strong allies, and do not dare to turn anyone away. Alright then, and that is Sabskep to the west. Alright. And we have over here Ingold. Oh, hello, Ingold. Ah, Pineleaf. I didn't think to see you again. I heard that urgent matters took you away from the conquest of Gorgoroth and sent you far to the north. Well, much has transpired while you were gone, my friend. The masters of Mordor have turned their attention to the dead city. I know not why, but their power has grown, and whatever reasons they have for coming to Minas Morgul must be fell purposes indeed. We have come to stop them before they achieve whatever they seek to achieve. We found Faramir in good health, commanding the Rangers of Ithilien. They enter the Morgul Vale, and it is their design to cleanse the city of evil and reclaim it for King Elisar. Faramir established an encampment, Echad Uel, nearer to the city. If you could travel there, you will be glad to have some aid from you. Alright, fine. I need to travel to Echad Uel, and the other one is they both want me to go to the same place. Wow, what a coincidence. Here we are at the camp of Echad Uil, where the dream of cleansing the Morgul Vale is in sight. Yes. Baragon hails you warmly, welcoming you to Echad Uil. Alright. Hello? Now then, I have a starting point for porting all over the place. Good. Let's see. Alright, we'll just have to do that. And we have Thurindol of the Rangers over there. And we have Damrod over here. And we have Baragon. Hello there.
I bid you welcome to Imlad Morgul.
Did I say welcome? This is not a welcoming place. No, and indeed it must be the least such that I have ever seen. Even so, it is my honor and my joy to serve here as the commander of King Elessar, for it is with his mercy alone that allowed me to still draw breath. My crime could not be forgiven. I spilt the blood of my fellows and for that of a guard in the citadel, and deserved death. Because I acted to save the life of my lord Faramir, the king named me in exile, and charged me with the further protection of Faramir's life. I don't gainsay the king's wisdom, nor would I, but neither am I blameless. I bear my guilt with me, and strive every day to serve King Elessar and Prince Faramir. It is my king's command that Minas Morgul be utterly destroyed, and the valley cleansed. I don't know how this might be accomplished, but I will do whatever I can to make it so. Thus do I welcome to Emlyn Morgul, Pineleaf, strange though it may seem. My prince has not found it easy to shake his roots as a ranger. Even now he walks somewhere in the valley, despite our warnings. I ask you to find several places from which to look at Minas Morgul and at the bridge of Gulliant, and also to defeat our foes along the Roth Duath. Take the road west until you emerge from the trees. There is a short stone pillar by the side of the track from which you can study the walls of the city. Faramir intended to survey the Gulliant, and you may find him there when you have accomplished these tasks. So, I need to go and check out the roads of the Moonlands, and also, let me see, speak with Domrod here.
Will you help bear my burden, friend?
Welcome to Ichad Tineleaf. Within any wood, we rangers know how to travel at speeds while remaining hidden. I find myself much more at home here than I did in the barren ways, where we last spoke. Come, we have much to discuss. You and Damron share stories and accounts of the recent adventures. Then you will assist us here in Rothduath for now? Good, good. You have not changed, my friend. I'm glad to hear it, for we have need of you here. Did you think otherwise? No, not in the least. I mean, when will I ever go to an encampment full of people and they all say, "No, we don't need you here for it." Okay, I've read to it a couple of times. Usually there's someone out in the corner that says, "Hey, really, here's the true story." Yes, okay, and then we have Thurendol here.
Now then.
Pineleaf, you've returned! I'll wager your journey to the north was a success if you have returned to assist us in this hour. While we successfully secured the Talath Uri, fumes and fire aside, the memory of that place still unsettles me. Boragnos has remained hidden, but I saw tendrils of his thought everywhere, and his servants still haunted me. Now they're gone, and it's as if they never were. Where did they go? And for what purpose? Pressing matters in the Morgul Vale drew us hither, and I must leave Talathuri behind. I will try not to dwell upon it, but I worry. Let us aid Faramir with this task here, and we will turn to the matters of the vanished Borgos within the city is cleansed. I'm glad that you're here. Yes, and so what do you need me to do, since you're so happy to find me? Aha, I do
It's
it.
not Terry.
I should be glad to see a dead orc lying upon the road, yet instead I'm concerned. The orc was not killed by one of our own. It would seem that someone hunted orcs in the Morgul Vale. Another orc? A mysterious friend? More investigation is required to determine if the killer poses any threat to us. Examine the body and search for more sentries of Minas Morgul. We must get to the bottom of this. Examine the dead orc along the road and defeat Morgul sentries. Am I going to be finding rust along there? Oh, well. I guess it would be par for the course for that to happen, right? And we have Arador. Oh, good grief. Oh, and complete quests in Rothdua to establish a hold in the air. So I need to complete 15 quests in order to finish out the introductory quest. Okie dokie.
May Faramir guide us to victory.
I'm glad to find you, Will, after the War Warden. There is much to be done here. Have you seen, or perhaps should say smelled, the noisome flowers that bloom throughout the Rothdua? Some say that they were bred by the Witch King to sicken those who travel through Imlad Morgul. I don't know if that's true, but it seems plausible. He hated us, and why should he not? We proved the greatest threat to him, did we not? I heard that he died at Pelennor, and no doubt we had a great deal to do with that. I think the Rohirrim had more to do with that, but that's an entirely different matter. Well, his flowers remain, and I fear the effects that they may have upon the Rangers. Would you be willing to burn any noisome flowers that you come across in your travels? You should be doing us all a great favor. Right? 20 of them! And what else? Poisonous wilds.
Take heart, allies. I sense a shift in the winds.
Ever since I stood lookout over the city of Osgiliath, my mind was captured by the strange wonders of the Morgul Vale. My eyes kept turning that way, for I have been gripped with the fear for it in all my life, ever since I was just a boy. And that was right and proper, for it is a sight of evil, and one should be wary of such places. But now, Faramir has returned to lead the Rangers of Ithilien hither, and I must find my courage. Indeed I have, for I see now that the known evil is less frightening than that which is unknown. I see that Rothdua is a home of many varieties of noisome plants and fungal growths. This is nature, not sorcery. Some of the fungal growths spew direct deadly flames, which certainly poses a danger to those who travel through the valley. If you come across any of these deadly varieties, destroy them. We will all thank you for it. Alright, fine. Noisome fungus and destroy poisonous mushrooms. Yes, those are ones I should avoid eating then. I suppose one should not eat any mushrooms that grow in the Morgul Valley.
Take heart, allies. I sense a shift in the winds.
Faramir has asked me to continue studying the waters of the Morgulduin, but I have yet to learn what might be causing this corruption. You helped me retrieve river samples once before. Might you do this again? I'm certain that we will find the answer if we work together. Does a tributary passing through the city taint these waters, or does the problem lie near the river source? Would you take water samples from nearby tributaries into the Morgulduin and sample closer to the river source for me? I would most be grateful for your assistance, my friend. Alright, very well. Gather 3 tributary sources. Alright. Okay, a northern, a southern, a tributary, and right, okay. Sample lots of water. Ah, well, I suppose that'll be a start, right? What will I find as I go out gardening within the Morgul Vale? We'll have to find that out in the next episode of The Complete Pine Leaf.